There are numerous advantages in using Polypanel. Polypanel does not require separate insulation wrap after installation, saving money and time. It is also very light compared to traditional sheet metal, requiring simple strap steel fixing to the roof. There is no requirement for specially designed suspension points in the duct line, as Polypanel is light and suspension straps can be positioned easily wherever needed. Polypanel can be fitted almost flush with ceilings or walls, as no room is required for insulation wrapping after the duct is installed. This can save as much as 250 millimeters per level, allowing for higher ceilings for the same internal heights. Arguably, over approximately 20 stories, the height of one floor could be saved by the extra space afforded from using Polypanel rather than wrapped sheet metal duct. As these pictures of the new Santos building in Adelaide show, it is possible to position the duct hard against the roof line, leaving a clear way for all the other surfaces underneath. You can see that the straps in this installation have been put up and taped over to prevent duct movement while the rest of the installation work is carried on. The cost savings for the developer by using Polypanel can be extensive, as the installation does not require the double handling of added insulation, the heavier suspension support and the extra manpower required to lift heavy sheet metal components. Small errors in duct specification that would require a sheet metal component to be returned to the factory for remake can often be rectified on-site when using Polypanel. It is easy to cut, glue and join, provided the installer has the simple tools. This can save a lot of money in reducing unnecessary downtime and rescheduling of work and manpower. Polypanel can also be used exposed under the ceiling with striking architectural effect. It is light enough to be suspended from an already suspended gyprock ceiling, as these pictures of the impressive installation in Harvey Norman's Adelaide showroom show. These installation shots at Harvey Norman's show how easily the installers can move the various parts of the installation around and get them into position. A simple lifter is all the heavy equipment required, and the relative lightness of the Polypanel sections decreases the safety risks of working overhead and off the ground. The Adelaide Santos project is a 5-star green accredited building, and we will see more and more of these projects in the near future. Polypanel is specified as this is a 5-star green product. AS/NZS 4254, tested to AS/NZS 1530.3, ignitability index 0, heat evolved index 0, flame spread index 0, and smoke index 0 to 1. Polypanel also has an ozone depletion potential of 0. Polypanel complies to UL 181 Part 9 as required by AS/NZS 4254 Clause 2.7.2c. Polypanel has the potential to save money and space in a project in that it is lighter and does not require the same level of fixing as sheet metal. It takes up less space for the same duct size because it does not require blanket insulation, and it can be fitted flush with roof and wall lines, taking up less volume than comparable sheet metal ducting. It does not require the machinery and manpower used with sheet metal. That is, 2 men can lift and secure lengths of Polypanel that would require 3 or more men and machinery if it were sheet metal. Like all new products, it will take a little time for any air conditioning contract team to get used to Polypanel. It is more fragile than sheet metal and requires more care in handling and storing to protect it from damage. The skills to install it differ slightly to sheet metal, but can be achieved quickly and easily. Polypanel projects will go ahead quicker, construction is easier and requires less manpower and machinery. Lighter weight components means less chance of accidental injury, and the ability to fix small mistakes on site helps the job finish quicker. Most installers find Polypanel projects easier to install once they're used to the product. This grid, showing work to be done against elapsed days, graphically shows the savings possible with Polypanel. The elimination of one whole task and reduction in time of another shortens the project time significantly, with obvious savings. Polypanel is in common use all over the world. In Dubai, where there are more high-rise buildings being built at the moment than in any other major city, polypanel type ductboard is in frequent use, accounting for upwards of 70% of the ducting requirements. Europe has used this sort of construction for many years as well. Australia will quickly learn about the advantages of this product. Polypanel from Polyaire.